I brought my childhood store. I did it for different reasons, but it still is a good reason, to keep it going. The family that owned it for the most part of 20 odd years. They told my parents that they were selling it. They mentioned it to me and it kind of went ching ching in my head, and I went straight home and rang my husband at work and said, hey, and he's like, we'll talk more about this later. A lot of clientele consciously come in to make sure it's still here. I think a lot of it is nostalgic. They want to keep something alive.
Every Tuesday was like a ritual because Domino's had the cheap Tuesday or 2-for-1 Tuesday.
We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so the treat was to go to the DVD shop.
I grew up in a small town, so we were at the local video store every week.
Order the pizza, go to the DVD shop, get the DVDs. By the time we finish the DVDs, we'll go get the pizza and then go home.
The customers are so varied, so you'll have your families because they want their kids to experience what they did. If you sat here with me on a Friday night or a Saturday, you'd just see we've just got such a variety. Buying this store was definitely a big risk. I actually thought, well, what about if I took this over and had the last remaining DVD store, because we had already seen that there were movies that were disappearing. So imagine if I had that little gold mine, so to speak, of having movies that you can't get anywhere. I had a look, I assessed it, I still thought I could do something with it. I have done a lot of cutting here and there. I do my own printing, my own making of covers, but it really didn't offset what was going down because it just continued to go down. So I decided to stop taking a wage. And though my accountant, continually advised me against it, but I valued the diversity of the staff, bringing the diversity of the customers. I just thought that was quite important.
I've seen a lot in every single genre. We have comedy, action, drama, thriller, sci-fi, children's, war/western, Asian cinema, Critics' Choice, and documentary. Buying classics. My favourite movie is a 2008 Swedish film called Let the Right One In. It's also my favourite book. It really builds on characters and theme, and it really takes its time with pacing and artistry. And it did, of course, had a terrible American remake 2 years later, which strapped all subtlety and artistic meaning behind it.
Whenever I tell someone that I work in a DVD store, their first response is often, those still exist. My all-time favourite movie is The Princess Bride. The whole story is about true love and adventure, and it's just such a great movie. I'd spend most every day reading TV news and movie websites because it informs what I'm doing at work, and it allows me to actually engage with the customers and make sure they have a meaningful experience here.
Ever since I've been old enough to get a job, I've wanted to work here. I deliver pizzas as well.
We've actually both worked at 2 of the same jobs. We both worked at Domino's together, and then we both worked. I got him
Domino's job. He got me this job.
My parents own the store, so naturally I would eventually work here. That's another sad part about it, the people that aren't going to be able to experience what it is like to work in a DVD store when you're growing up, It's awesome. It's every kid's dream.
I think as a child, I love watching sci-fi stuff, and I've always liked watching sci-fi stuff. I look at the TV guide to see what's on TV every day. So when people come in and they say, I saw a movie on last week and it had the one with the woman in it, sometimes you're able to guess.
For me, it's not all about money. I love how I have the accessibility to people.
It's only been about 16 years, I think, I've been going. They know me by name. And then they even know Annie, my dog. So, just behave. Oh, no, not there. That's not fair.
She knows the people that come through. She knows people's names.
She knows us. We don't have to, let them know our names. She's very warm and open, and she's got an incredible memory for names. I am the worst person for names. To be honest, I don't remember most of yours.
I like a good story sort of thing. Could be a bit of a light romance.
Sometimes you feel like watching an old movie that you've watched so many times. You can't watch it on Stan or Netflix, but the DVD shop would definitely have it.
But it's not just the videos. I think it's the interaction is part of it there. Very big part of it.
If I've learnt anything about you that could be helpful, then I'll put notes there. You know, we put words like going through a tough time, very lonely, have conversations, be kind, give a discount, give a smile, give a hug.
In a way, she can be like a therapist because someone's having a rough day. You just want to go in there and then, you know, get a movie, and then she's always there, always happy to listen.
I also like the fact that it does get us out of the house, you know, like the whole social media thing and downloading movies has made us all very insular in a way. And so getting out and talking to people, especially with Mel, you know, she likes to have a chat and, you know, understand what we like about movies and things like that and hear what we thought about movies.
Sometimes I've asked them to pick to see what they come up with, which is rather interesting to see whether they get close to what I like.
We'll browse Netflix sometimes and just find something that pops up, and then you end up watching like all of one thing. Like you watch a crime documentary and then all of a sudden that's all it's recommending for you and you just get stuck on serial killers.
I've got Netflix, I've got Stan, and I have Foxtel. For me, it's another excuse to get out of the house and go out and actually do stuff. More like human interaction sort of thing, you know, just cooked up at home.
We have so many people that just want to chat, and they'll get movies every week and then they'll come in for like half an hour to an hour and just chat with us. And like they'll even, if we're busy, they'll wait.
Even though it was essentially about the movies, it's now maybe moved to consciously keeping something alive and maybe consciously keeping Mel in business. I don't know. My accountant is shaking his head at me and saying, we need a closing date, this is not looking good. They go on figures and numbers, and maybe I'm going on emotions.
I hate to think of losing her.
Yeah, I think it will just be sad if she has to close her doors.
I'll be just going up the shops and just back home. Won't be the same, won't be saying hello to too many people because it'll be all different.
Initially they might say, okay, the internet, Netflix, that's the way to go. You hear a lot of that. But in 5 years' time, they're all going to say, I wish we still had a DVD store. That's when they'll miss it.
There's those that would start streaming, there's those that just wouldn't have, you know, access to movies anymore, and that's really sad, you know, like all forms of art should be accessible for everybody.
I can get some videos from the library. I might just be reading more books.
I do worry that, like, you know, I think in my head that inevitably the store's going to have to close, and it's hard to think about what she's going to lose in that situation, because I know if I had like a business or something I poured my heart and soul to, or like our music we pour our heart and soul into, anyone that pours their heart and soul into something, if you lose it, it's going to be hard. And so it's going to be a bit sad to see my mum go through that if it comes to it, but yeah, got to push through.
I'm crossing my fingers, I'm doing my best. People said, but what about if you fail? What about if you lose your money? What about if it all goes pear-shaped? And I said, well, I tried. I can't just sit back and say, well, hell, let's just close it down and not try. That doesn't work for me. I want to try. And I want to try for my customers, I want to try for my staff. And so I'm going to push through and I'm going to give it my best, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't evolve, it's not without me bloody putting all my effort into it. So I'll keep going. I'll keep trying.
What's your secret? Like, you don't really want to tell us what you're going to, movies that you like to watch.
I do like the kids' movies. Hotel Transylvania, Frozen, How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh my God, yeah. It's
Also how sad they can be.
looking forward sometimes to go see the kids' movies at the cinemas, but you have to literally wait till like the later sessions because you won't have to fight the kids at the popcorn stands.
Oh, that is brilliant.